Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 9 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I've got such a short interview with somebody I was so looking forward to speaking to, so I'm going to have a very, very brief introduction here. 1975, I met a guy who told me he was a psychic, and he said he was getting vibrations from me, and he told me this whole bunch of stuff, okay? And much of it came true. A lot of it came true, like, right away, and then there were other things, like he said 40 years from now, which I believe would have been 2 years ago, was 40 years from now.
Oh, okay.
I think. And the other day I was going through a book, an old scrapbook, and he had sent me a letter, like maybe even 20 years later, that said that I was going to be entering into a time, and I'm not really a psychic goer. I don't really do this a whole lot. In fact, I don't think I've ever actually done it. It's just that he saw me, and he was a friend of a friend of a friend or something like that. And anyway, so he wrote in this letter that I kept it in the scrapbook. He's talking about real quickly, like 2 or 3 lines, that we were going to be doing children's music. And you and I started doing children's music a few years later. And I was looking at that thinking, was I influenced by that, or was he actually seeing the future? Why did we start doing children's music? I don't know. Mary Ann DeMarco, oh my gosh, you've got such a following. Mary Ann is on the phone. She's a psychic medium. She's doing a radio tour right now, so she's going from one of us, radio geeks to the next. Her book is called Believe, Ask, Act, and if nothing else, the title kind of gives you some hints about maybe how we can make our lives better. Good morning, Mary Ann. How are you?
Good morning, Larry. How are you? Hi, Robin.
I'm
Good
okay.
morning.
Are you a Long Island girl? Where are you?
I am a Long Island girl. I sure am.
Look at that, Robin.
You've got her pegged.
I grew up on Long Island too. Wow, you're a pretty Long Island girl. So are you on Long Island right now? Are you in New York?
I am on Long Island right now. I am.
All right. So is it a hard sell? I mean, do people readily accept the fact that you are a psychic?
They do. I find it so much easier now than maybe, a few years ago even. There's something about, I don't know, the last 5 years or so, and probably because we're seeing these psychics on TV do positive work and have some fun with it, that I think it's just becoming more and more acceptable. I used to watch Don Edward, for years when he was on, and I found it all very fascinating, but I was a little nervous when I started doing this work about, just kind of acceptance and all that, but now that's sort of all fallen by the wayside for the most part.
I have a question about what you do. Not exactly the normal question you might get, I hope. I hope it's a new question. But do you get drained? Do you get fatigued? In other words, is it a draining process to hook into that thing you have? In other words, is it the same as if I was building a house or something? You're exerting energy when you do this?
Yes, a lot of energy. And I had to learn early on, because when you first start doing this work, it's kind of exciting and it's interesting and it's fascinating, and I want to do it all the time. And I quickly learned that is not the way to do it, and that I had to give my body rest, I had to give my mind rest. I have a friend of mine who equates it to kind of running a 5K when you do a day of readings. Yeah. And she's right. It can be
that's what I thought.
Very exhausting, yeah.
Okay, so if my son came to me, my son is 30, so you just get an idea. And by the way, we were in New York in October, and I was showing off everything. So anyway, so if he came to me today and he said, "Dad, can you give me some advice?" I would give him some advice, and I would think to myself, "Gosh, I hope I'm right." Okay, now if I'm dead, right, and he comes to you and he said, "Hey, my father said you'd be a good person to get in touch with him after he died," and now you're talking to me. Right, and I'm up in there eating lemons or whatever you do in heaven, and then he asks you, "Would you ask my dad what I should do next?" Why is he gonna believe me more if I'm doing it from heaven? I mean, do I have any more insight when I'm dead than I do alive?
I hope you do. I hope there's some great mystery that we can figure out when we get to that other side. I believe that there is, but I think it's more about sitting with somebody who has no idea what he's looking for validation on, and then I translate that information over, and he says, "That's exactly what I wanted to know. How did you know that?" And then I say, "Well, I'm psychic.
Why?
That's what I do."
But why do we? I wonder, It happens. I mean, I've had a few. I'd be boring if I told you my stories, but I've had a few where some psychic would say to me, "Oh, your father's talking to me, and he's asking me about this," and I'll go, "Holy crap!"
Yeah, that's neat.
What happened?
Pretty fascinating, isn't it?
I love
I love it. I love what I do.
I love how in your book that you advocate using your own instincts.
Yes. Yes. So many people were coming to me, client after client, person after person, asking me, Marianne, how do I do this? How do I connect? And so it became such a repetitive theme that I decided to write this book. I felt very drawn to give people 3 easy steps to navigate through roadblocks or enhance positivity, whatever it is they're looking to do, and use your own God-given intuition to make connections so that you don't have to see a psychic every single year, but that you can learn how to do it on a daily basis and use it as a practice. And I think it's incredibly empowering if you can make that connection.
So do we have to ask? It says believe, ask, act. Do I have to ask?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, asking is important because you want to put out a positive intention. You want to be clear in what you're asking for. Or you can be asking just for confirmation, or just you can be asking just to be reaffirmed in your path that you're doing. So even if you feel like you're on the right path, you want confirmation for that. You could just ask if they're around and just for signs for being around. So, yeah, sure. It's just the intention that needs to be made clear so that you yourself can receive the answer clearly and with, positive and with knowing that you're hearing the right answer.
And do you feel like you always connect to the person you want to hear from? Like if I say, Dad, am I doing the right thing? And then I somehow, I see a penny. I say, oh, that must be from my father. And does that confirm I'm doing the right thing, or is it somebody just leaving?
I tell people to go with that. Yes, absolutely. I tell people to go with that because people say to me, how do I know that the butterfly was a sign from so-and-so? And then I'll say, well, were you thinking about them at that moment? Did you ask to see a sign from that particular person? That's the belief part. Believing in a higher power, trusting in what you're being shown, that it is from the other side, that there's something greater. It is a little bit of blind faith, isn't it? Because we can't truly see or be there with them, and so we have to trust in what we're being shown through divine guidance. And if you can do that, then all the pieces kind of start to fall right where they're supposed to.
And with your field of expertise, do you see horrendous stories on the news like a murder and people are looking for this murderer? Do you ever get some kind of feeling about where this person is and you go to the police?
Yeah, I try to stay away from the news because I find that it does affect me in a way. And I don't go to the police. Unless I've had families come to me for like missing persons and things like that. But I'm very, very careful with that type of work, and I do have my boundaries. And so I try not to delve too much into that area. I think we have to be very careful as psychics and mediums of what type of work we're dealing with and how we're dealing with people's feelings. And so I'm careful with that. It's my best answer for that.
Marianne, it's an honor, and the book is awesome. The book is called Believe, Ask, Act. Call me if you want the copy that was sent to me. Marianne DeMarco is who you'll look for. By the way, I was a neighbor of the DeMarco family. I don't know if you're related.
Really?
And what is it? MarianneTheMedium.com? Is that the website?
Yes, it is.
All right. I am Larry the Large, by the way. You're Marianne the Medium. I'm Larry the Large.
We have to talk about that DeMarco connection when you get a chance.
That's right.
Thank you, Marianne. I don't know if I meant it that way, but we'll be right back.
Defense Secretary nominee retired General James Mattis asked about our relationship with Russia.
History is not a straitjacket, but I've never found a better guide for the way ahead than studying the history. Since Yalta, we have a long list of times that we've tried to engage positively with Russia. We have a relatively short list of successes in that regard.
Mr. Trump's choice to head the CIA, Kansas Congressman Mike Pompeo and former rival Ben Carson up for HUD chief in the opening statement of his hearing.
I want to go on a listening tour. I want to hear from the people with boots on the ground who are actually administering programs.
And reports say that our government will accuse Fiat Chrysler of violating pollution laws with diesel vehicles. Fox News, we report. You decide.
Investments in securities involves the risk of loss. The following is a far too common tale of investing in annuities. A successful couple invested a large portion of their savings in annuities, thinking they were a safe way to guarantee a dependable income stream no matter what the market did. But it didn't take long for them to regret their decision. They were locked into low returns, faced potential tax consequences, and that they couldn't get out of their annuities without paying huge penalties. They were stuck, and so was their money. Suddenly, their retirement hopes and dreams were in danger, but it didn't have to happen to them, and it doesn't have to happen to you. You can avoid the annuity trap. Here's one way. Get the free report, Annuity Insights, your guide to better understanding annuities, by calling 1-800-319-0009. Written by Forbes columnist and money manager Ken Fisher's firm. This powerful report could help save you from major financial heartache, and it's offered today for free. If you have an annuity or are considering one, claim your free annuities guide today. Hurry, free copies are limited. Call now, 1-800-319-0009. 1-800-319-0009.
Council.
It's time for Farming Ranch Headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. Bob Kimmerite with the University of Georgia is now working in preparation for the planting season that'll be coming up in mid-April, and farmers need to be thinking about disease protection. Bob, what are some of the things they can be doing?
When I look back at 2016, we had some major disease outbreaks. Now in the season, it's time to be prepared for that. I would suggest that growers start looking at what was the impact of Aspergillus crown rot. What's the quality of seed? What seed are you using? More importantly, I would be looking at what kind of leaf spot program do you have. Some of our varieties have good high oleic characteristics, high yield potential, but they need help with fungicides. Let's make sure we got good fungicides. European Union hasn't helped us. We need to look at what some of our options are. And then most importantly is white mold. White mold was a big year last year. It was a big year the year before. We can expect it with shorter rotations. Now's the time to look at your variety, and especially the time to look at the fungicides and some of the newer fungicides, what they may bring. It's not always what you spend up front. It's the kind of money you make by using a good disease management program throughout the season.
I heard last year we had a lot of underground white mold. What do the farmers face there?
Underground white mold is the same as our regular white mold, except during hot, dry conditions, it's forced underground where there's more moisture. Believe it or not, it's more of a problem for our dryland growers. We just don't have the irrigation to wash it down in dryland conditions. And so our dryland growers really need to be prepared for how they can help to get that fungicide to the target and try to manage some underground white mold.
I've been looking all over the world.
Hey y'all, I'm Josh Turner. Whether you're a hometown girl or a backwoods boy, come to Nashville for the 2017 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. You'll see the biggest cattle industry trade show with over 6 acres of displays, plus an exclusive concert with Cowboys Night at the Opry. Mosey on down to Music City, February 1st through the 3rd. Find out more at beefusa.org.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
Hi, my name is Erica Olstein. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine. So, you used to be wired, now you're just tired. You used to be thin, but now you're the heaviest you've ever been. You don't necessarily always have to take a med if your thyroid is playing dead. If you have a thyroid disorder, an acupuncture visit may be in order. Come visit me, your primary care physician, Erica Olstein, at A Better You Healthcare. Call me at 352-615-5566.
That was the sound of a tree falling. It could be your tree. You're going to have it trimmed, but never got around to calling Pride Tree Service. It could have fallen in a field, and now all you have to do is call Pride Tree Service, and they'll have it quickly out of the way for a great price. But don't wait until the tree falls. It may not fall in the field. It may hit your car, your house, or worse. So call Pride Tree Service today and avoid all those headaches before they happen. Pride Tree Service, 572-2510. That's 572-2510.
Hi, this is Vanessa Lane Jennings with the Jennings Law Firm, located here in beautiful Ocala. Join me every single Friday at 10:30 for Legal Lane. We'll be discussing various legal topics such as family law, criminal law, contracts, and much more. So this is your chance to call in with your legal questions and have them answered. That's every Friday, 10:30, right here, WOCA The Source.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Thursday, a mix of sun and clouds. There may be a shower in spots along the coast, high 76 to 80. Partly cloudy and mild Thursday night, low 55 inland, 61 at the coast. For Friday, more sun than clouds, but there may be a shower in places, mainly at the coast, high 75 to 79. Saturday, clouds and sun with a chance of a shower at the coast, high 75 to 79. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hey
Ocala. This is Kelly Hart, executive editor of Ocala Magazine. Did you know last year Ocala Magazine won more awards and excellence than any other publication in Florida? And this year, Ocala Magazine was named Best Consumer Magazine in the state. Now you can join me every Friday at 10 a.m. on Ocala Magazine Radio, where we bring the pages of Ocala Magazine to life, right here on The Source. Ocala Magazine thanks you for making us number one. And remember, there is only one Ocala Magazine.
A young woman contemplating having an abortion is told by society that whether she has her baby or not, it is her choice. The House of One in Faith in Ocala wants to give that young woman a place to live in comfort during her trying time, to help her know that God's love is abundant and that He is not ashamed of her in any way. The House of One in Faith is free and confidential. For more information, call 352-687-8895.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 7 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Nice looking Thursday morning. Hope you're doing okay. Gosh, every time you turn around, there's another story about a medical advance that we are now talking about. And one of the ones we heard a few weeks ago was about a baby who actually had some surgery before the baby was born. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
They actually removed the baby. Mm-hmm. And then did the surgery and then put the baby back in the mother's womb. Do you remember that story?
I do remember.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Miracle.
Dr. Scott Adzik is on the phone. He's the surgeon-in-chief at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and we've spoken to so many great doctors up there before. He's the director of the hospital's Center for Fetal Diagnosis and Treatment. Oh my gosh, what he must see on a daily basis. January is Birth Defects Awareness Month. He's talking to us about some advanced technology for the very thing I was just alluding to, fetal surgery, surgical procedures when the baby is still in the womb. Dr. Scott Adzik, good morning, sir. Sir, are you there?
Dr. Adzik?
One moment, sir.
Oh, gee.
Okay, we'll have to go.
I guess he's...
Doctor?
Good morning, doctor.
Just one moment, please.
Okay.
Are they...
All right.
We're on the air live.
All right. All right. So, anyway, so January is Birth Defects Awareness Month. The Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, by the way, the website is so awesome. We went to the website a few times with different interviews. It's chop.edu, like CHOP.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
CHOP City, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Scott Adzik. Let's see if he's there now. Good morning, doctor. Okay. He's not.
Dr. Adzik?
All right, we have to do our show.
Okay.
Thank you. We have to move. We have to tell Ted we have to reschedule that.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
All right, so.
Okay.
That's how you do that one. Okay.
There we go.
Well, if I knew that, I could have spoken longer to the psychic.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish the psychic had told me.
That would have been really nice.
All right, let's go back to what Ken Nash was talking about, because I find this fascinating. He left us some stuff. Okay, so here in Ocala, we have a road called Fort King Street, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And am I the only one who doesn't know anything about the fort itself? I didn't even know where it was. I mean, I do now. But they're going to rebuild it, right?
Yes.
I didn't know the history behind it. I didn't know the purpose of it. I mean, you had a great question. Why wasn't it near the river where the travel would be? And, and apparently it sounds like it was built by the settlers and manned by the immigrants who didn't all speak English, and kind of kept separated. And this is kind of hard to believe, that one little building could keep the people who were moving down from the north separated from the Seminole Indians who were still living here at that time. And this was their home.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's an interesting thing. And off the air, by the way, what Ken Nash told us was that they're also working with the Seminole tribe to also make sure that they are represented at the museum that is being constructed over at the Fort King site, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it ought to be exciting. Now, he gave me a timeline, but this is a timeline that goes from 1823 to 1846. Well, that's kind of interesting. So we'll have to go over there. Have you gone over there at all?
I have not, but my mother's been over there like 4 different times, and she has taken the walking tour on that path and everything with a docent. She had been there when they invited people to come out, and they supplied sketch pads and sketch pencils and paints.
Right.
And so they went and they sketched and painted over there. She was also able to go through the visitor center, and the 4th time she was able to, speak with the docents, and they took her on a personal tour. So it's extremely nice over there, 30 acres, and it's just absolutely amazing. She was able to visit the archaeological site, and it's so cool.
Years ago, I was when we were working at the radio station right near the interstate. I took my dog for a walk, and I walked up to the fence that separates basically that little service road back there from the interstate. There's a chain link fence, and my dog was doing what dogs do. And I looked down, and I said, boy, that rock looks like an arrowhead. And I bent down, and it sure enough was an arrowhead. More accurately, it was a spearhead. And it had the tip broken off of it, but it was clearly a spearhead. And I picked it up and put it in my pocket, and I had it with me at the radio station. And Ken Nash, who was our volunteer meteorologist, weatherman at the time, the gentleman who was just here a little while ago from the Gulf Archaeology Research Institute.
Yep.
But he was our guy because he had been a meteorologist in the Air Force.
Yeah, he's a lieutenant colonel.
So anyway, I knew he knew people at the college, and I showed it to him. I said, "Look at this! You know what? Look what I found! Is this cool? Is there any way to tell like anything about this? Like what tribe would have used this? Blah 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 blah. Whatever my stupid questions were." And he said, you're not allowed to keep that stuff. You have to turn that over to the state. I meant to mention it to him, but he had so much information, it was kind of hard to tell him that. But anyway, so I said, oh, no, don't tell me they're going to take it away from me. I wanted to give it to my dad.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Ken took it. He didn't take it away from me. He just took it to the school, had the professors or whatever over at the school look at it to kind of determine whatever. And then he did bring it back, which was good. And then we went to Michael's and got a shadow box. And put it in the shadow box, and my father had it hanging on his wall for the longest time.
Do you still have it?
No, I think my brother has it.
Oh.
I think my brother has it. So, but it was kind of a cool thing. When you think about that, you realize that you could still to this day find arrowheads out there, right? And when I say arrowheads, I mean arrowheads or spearheads or other archaeological things. In fact, the very ground that this mall is built on, before it was, I used to know the name of the farm, the horse farm.
Was it King? Does it start with a K? Kingswood, Kingsland?
Rose something.
Oh, Rosemere Farms.
Rosemere, thank you.
Yeah, Rosemere Farms.
Yeah, this used to be Rosemere Farms.
Yep.
And Rosemere Farms crossed over the area that is now called State Road 200.
Right.
Which is kind of cool. So this whole thing was Rosemere Farms, the school and what the mall is now. And of course, prior to that, it was wildland. People would hunt here, and those people could have been Native Americans.
That's right.
They were hunting. So right here in this very spot could be, of course, it'd be buried under concrete right here, but.
Yeah, but it's pretty interesting. We've got history surrounding all of us here.
All right, we do have another guest coming on, we presume. Genevieve, is that how I say her name?
Genevieve.
Oh, Genevieve, okay. Shaw Brown, a reporter for ABC News, and she's talking to us about her book, The Happiest Mommy You Know.
Okay.
And we'll be right back. This is WOCA.
Whether you're just starting out in your career or ready to make a change, being a commercial pilot is within your reach. The FAA has predicted that in the next few years, the number of planes in the sky will double, and that means a lot more jobs in aviation. Ocala Aviation has teamed up with an accredited university, enabling you to get a college degree in aviation while training to be a commercial pilot. And with options like financial aid, grants, and scholarships, it's never been a better time to get your new career in aviation started today. For more information, call me at Ocala Aviation, 352-861-7484.
You have that drip coming down from the corner of the room, but where did it start from?
Bone Dry Roofing can and will fix it right the first time using quality materials and will deal honestly and fairly with you, period. You can find Bone Dry Roofing on their website, bonedryroofingllc.com, and Facebook at Bone Dry Roofing LLC. Do it right before your roof needs a tarp to keep the elements out. Bone Dry Roofing stands behind their work to help make your home safe and secure, plus they have financing available. Remember, if you're not bone dry, then you're all wet.
Today in Florida Ag News on the Southeast AgNet, we told you last week that a special master had given Florida and Georgia a January 24 deadline to reach a framework for settlement of a legal fight over water rights. With more on that story, here's Gary Cooper.
Agricultural input representatives and dealers and some area farmers showed up for an update about the so-called Florida-Georgia water war this week at the Georgia Plant Food Educational Society meeting in Tifton. The fact-based presentation from Calvin Perry. He's superintendent of University of Georgia's Stripling Irrigation Center in Camilla, Georgia. The Stripling Center, strictly a research center. It's set up to help farmers be as efficient as possible with irrigation and to provide fact-based research about Georgia water and irrigation issues to the public and political sectors at large. The water war, as it has become known over the years, has been going on for decades at this point, finally going to the U.S. Supreme Court more recently as a result of a Florida lawsuit over damages that Florida says have been caused to the Apalachicola oyster industry in particular due to Georgia taking too much Flint River Basin water before it gets to Florida downstream. Well, the U.S. Supreme Court has said through a special master that if these states can't settle the issue between themselves by the 24th of this month with a report by the 26th to the court may do it for them. Warning, if the court does it, both parties may be left unhappy. Lots of farms in southwest Georgia using irrigation, and the looming Supreme Court action has farmers throughout the region anxious to find out the final rulings. Some legal scholars say the court perhaps can tell a state that they have to have a cap or reduce water use, but it can't direct the state how it implements such an action. And the whole situation is now raising a number of other concerns, one being, will this lead to another urban versus agricultural debate situation over water in that region? For Southeast AgNet, I'm Gary Cooper.
Thanks, Gary, and I'm Randall Wiseman on the Southeast AgNet.
Hi, I'm Big Daddy Don Garlitz, asking you to support adoption by purchasing a Choose Life license plate from your county tag office. You know it costs a lot to give a child life. Many times a woman is forced to make a bad choice because of financial pressures. Help save the lives of the unborn children by aiding women whom choose life instead of abortion. Take a stand for life. Purchase your Choose Life license plate today. For more information, go to chooselife.org or call 352-624-2854.
Cookies, 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 cookies. We go cookie eating cookies.
When you want something special and fun for any occasion, get cookies. King Cookie in the Paddock Mall in Ocala will make a delicious, fun-filled delight just for you. So next time you're in the mall, stop by King Cookie or call 352-237-2557. KingCookieOcala.com. Customized cookies, cakes, and more. King Cookie.
Eating cookies, we're so happy eating cookies. Cookies!
Career Source Citrus Levy Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source Citrus Levy Marion and learn how they can help you.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Thursday, a mix of sun and clouds. There may be a shower in spots along the coast, high 76 to 80. Partly cloudy and mild Thursday night, low 55 inland, 61 at the coast. For Friday, more sun than clouds, but there may be a shower in places, mainly at the coast, high 75 to 79. Saturday, clouds and sun with a chance of a shower at the coast, high 75 to 79. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hey, I'm Gary.
And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 21 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I have flashbacks when I look at the title of this book. I have flashbacks of being a kid and going to relatives' houses and us kids just all hanging around, and you can hear the adults talking, and you don't really kind of half pay attention to it, but you can always hear your mom laughing, right? You can hear it. I can hear your mother laughing in my mind, Robin.
Thank
your mother
you.
laughing. And right now, as at the age I am now, I look at my nieces, for example, who are moms, young moms, and gosh, and they just are so enjoying being moms and posting pictures and stuff on Facebook, and it just makes me happy. Anyway, the book is called The Happiest Mommy You Know, and I'm trying to think, who is the happiest mommy I know? I've got a few of them. Why putting your kids first is the last thing you should do. Genevieve Shaw Brown is the author. My gosh, she's got some credentials. She's a reporter for ABC News, a lifestyle writer, an editor, the recipient of the Silver Grand Award for Travel Journalist of the Year from the Society of American Travel Writers, the recipient of the Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Reporting. Good morning, Genevieve. How are you?
Good morning, Larry. I am well. I hope you are too.
Where are you right now?
I am in my apartment in New York City, actually, working from home today.
All right. And do you have little children?
Oh, yes. Well, of course, that's how they were the inspiration for the book. I have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and an almost 1-year-old. So life is hectic, but it's good.
Did you grow up in New York City?
I did, actually. I've lived here, with the exception of going away to college and then living in Boston for a short period of time. I've lived here my whole life. Yeah. So I've got family nearby. It's wonderful.
Yeah, so I was born in the Bronx, and then we moved to Long Island. My parents wanted to get away from the city. Of course, I was in the city all the time as a kid. But
right.
But it was one of those things I've often wondered, gosh, that's a different experience to actually grow up in the city.
It is, and it is very different than I think what most people are used to. But I have to tell you, especially now being a parent, I'm very grateful for the ability to raise my kids here because there is always something to do. So that is good news.
Well, and plus, for your lifestyle, the fact that you have to be in the heart of everything if you're going to be a journalist, you sort of have no choice but to be there. Otherwise, you kind of shortchange yourself, don't you?
Absolutely, and actually that's one of the main reasons that my husband and I have decided to raise our family in the city is because we both work right here in Manhattan, and it's in order to be with the kids as much as we possibly can, plus to have the flexibility to go to their events at their schools and things like that, it makes more sense that we live and work here. So our commute time is basically nothing, which is very helpful. We don't spend a lot of time going back and forth between work and home, which makes it easier for us. And I had to have a more flexible lifestyle and spend as much time with the kids as we can.
One of the things that came to mind as I was looking at some of the talking points for the book, it resembles what I see, because now I'm living in an area where there's a lot of retired people, and so there's a lot of caregivers. So now the roles are reversed, and it almost looks the same. It's like you have to have time for yourself. You're devoting all your time to your mom, who's 84, 94 years old, whatever, and you have to have a little bit of time for yourself. And it sounds like that's the same message.
It's interesting. I hadn't actually thought about it that way until this moment, but you're absolutely right, because it's really, think about the oxygen mask on the airplane. This is my favorite analogy. When those oxygen masks come down, they say, you have to put yours on first before helping anybody else. The reason being, if you don't put yours on first, you're not going to be able to help anybody else. And it's really the same mentality when you are a caretaker, whether that be of young children, as I am, or of elderly parents, as you know, my parents have been. You need to really take care of the basic necessities of your life, because if you're not taking care of yourself, you really are no good to anybody else. And the point, especially as far as parenting goes, is for I think most of us, we want to raise happy kids, and happiness begins at home. And if you're not modeling happy behavior, I don't know that your kids will even know what that is. And I wrote the book and I went on this journey because I found my life was way out of balance. You know, really just sacrificing everything and anything for the kids at the expense of myself. So we all took a step back and we put things in balance, and things are a lot more calmer, peaceful, and happier now.
And that gets rid of the guilt feelings, because so many times people will have those guilt feelings and they will spiral themselves into a depression.
Absolutely. And the thing is, you know, there's a lot of guilt associated with parenthood these days. You know, it always feels like you're not doing enough. I actually call it not enoughness, when you're doing everything and you still feel like you're not doing enough. But the truth is, if you're taking time for yourself because it's going to make you a better parent, there's absolutely nothing selfish about that, and there shouldn't be any guilt associated with it at all.
And when you said the important thing, if it's going to make you a better parent, I think there's probably a line you draw somewhere. Like, you're not going to take a 7-week cruise.
For sure.
Well, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And that is not what this book is about.
No,
at all.
no, I know.
It's about taking a day to go on a spa retreat. This is about taking care of the necessities of life that you pay such close attention to for your children, like getting enough sleep, going to the doctor when you have to go to the doctor. I mean, it's something I had neglected for 3 years. Eating the same nutritious food you would want your kids to eat. Seeing friends once in a while. I mean, this is very basic stuff, but it gets forgotten in the busyness of life. And, you know, my thing was, I realized my oldest daughter, she's now 5, and time was flying, you know, and their childhood is so precious and it is so short, and I just wanted to enjoy it. I wanted us all to enjoy it. I didn't want to wish it away. And so that was what was behind the book.
And by doing that, you're also giving your children space to grow and discover who they are without trying to emulate their mom or their dad.
Absolutely. And, you know, there's a lot of what I think is called these days, I think it's called overparenting, micromanaging every minute of your child's life. And, you know, that's all. I mean, I'm all whatever works for your family is great. But I truly believe that the mom is the heart of the family, and everybody else's mood is related to how mom is feeling. I truly, truly believe that. So mom has to be feeling her best so she can give her best to her family, and to make the kids as happy as they can be.
No arguments for me on that. But I have one question about the husband, not necessarily yours, but the partnership that you each have, a husband and wife. There has to be a role there for, let's say, him in your case, in order for you to have the life that makes you happy, so that your children have a happy life, right? I mean, he's got to say, okay, I'll take the kids today, but you don't call it babysitting. He's the dad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Right?
That's called being a father. It's
right.
not called babysitting. And my husband and I have a very equal partnership, and we're both fully invested in making our family a happy family. And, you know, he also takes time for himself, as I do for myself, and then we also take time together away from the kids. You know, it's not easy, but we figure it out once in a while, and it really goes a long way, because your relationship with your spouse is so important to your children's well-being.
The Happiest Mommy You Know is the name of the book. Genevieve Shaw Brown is the author. I have a copy of the book. Call me if you would like the copy that Genevieve sent to us. The rest of us have to go buy it. I've got like 30 seconds to find out where we go. And do you have a website you can recommend?
Absolutely. You can always find out more at GenevieveShawBrown.com. But if you want the book really fast, I recommend you go buy it on Amazon.
There you go. That's the way to do it. Genevieve, thank you for being on the show with us today.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. We'll be right back.
News Radio, I'm Lillian Booth. Several of the president-elect's cabinet choices under scrutiny today. At his confirmation hearing, Defense Secretary nominee retired General James Mattis asked about our relationship with Russia.
History is not a straitjacket, but I've never found a better guide for the way ahead than studying the history. Since Yalta, we have a long list of times that we've tried to engage positively with Russia. We have a relatively short list of successes in that regard.
Mr. Trump's choice to head the CIA, Kansas Congressman Mike Pompeo and former rival Ben Carson up for HUD chief in the opening statement of his hearing.
I want to go on a listening tour. I want to hear from the people with boots on the ground who are actually administering programs.
And reports say that our government will accuse Fiat Chrysler of violating pollution laws with diesel vehicles. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Investments in securities involves the risk of loss. The following is a far too common tale of investing in annuities. A successful couple invested a large portion of their savings in annuities, thinking they were a safe way to guarantee a dependable income stream no matter what the market did. But it didn't take long for them to regret their decision. They were locked into low returns, faced potential tax consequences, and that they couldn't get out of their annuities without paying huge penalties. They were stuck, and so was their money. Suddenly, their retirement hopes and dreams were in danger. But it didn't have to happen to them, and it doesn't have to happen to you. You can avoid the annuity trap. Here's one way. Get the free report, Annuity Insights, your guide to better understanding annuities, by calling 1-800-319-0009. Written by Forbes columnist and money manager Ken Fisher's firm. This powerful report could help save you from major financial heartache, and it's offered today for free. If you have an annuity or are considering one, claim your free annuities guide today. Hurry, free copies are limited. Call now. 1-800-319-0009. 1-800-319-0009.
All right, 28 minutes before 12 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Beautiful Thursday, and we've got some beautiful people in our community. We haven't spoken to Jerry in a while over at Jerry's Point of Gun. No. It seems like a million years because the Christmas season just completely occupies our time.
Exactly.
Jerry, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, good morning. Since it slowed down a little bit after Christmas and everything is kind of on the coasting line, if you out there and you need some money, you got something for Christmas you don't want, bring it by. We'll buy it from you. If you got anything in the gun line, anything from one gun to a dozen or to 100, we will come out and give you a price. If you got anything over 10 guns, we will come by, or anything close to that. We'll come out to your house and give you a price on them. And if you have any antique guns you want to get rid of, you have any German Lugers, German type of bayonets, and Japanese rifles, guns, Nambus, Lugers. You have any Lugers that you want to sale right now? They bring in a good price, so come by and see us. We think we do the best wholesale for them here in Ocala. So if you have that, or have something, you have any old guitars you'd like to get rid of that are good name brands that are worth something, bring them by. If you have new ones, we'll buy them. You have tools, all kind of tools, and we take them out here. We've taken just about everything that we can make some money on, so we do need some good stuff, not worn out stuff. So if you got that, then you need to keep it in the yard sale. But we do have lots of things at Jerry's Pawn Shop. It's 10,000 square feet down here, and you can look at it. We're loaded. If you've never been down here, you will. I wish I'd have come down here 10 years ago. Have saved myself some money. So if you don't save money, we wouldn't be down here. That's how come we buy good stuff, and we guarantee our stuff to work. And if you buy it from us, it don't work, you can bring it back. If you have some good stuff you want to get rid of, bring it on by. And Larry, I'd like to talk about my yard sale I'm having on the 20th and 21st at Living Waters.
Robin told me about it.
Yeah, we got a big one coming up. You know, I've got 50 home safes up there for sale. They are some brand new. Some have a little scratch on it here. Some have a little scratch on it there, and they're working safes. We have some that don't work. We'll sell them to you cheap if you want to try to get them fixed. But we do have at least 25, 30 of them that are real nice. And come by and look at those. We have exercise machines. We have all kind of stuff for a yard sale, warehouse sale. And we're also setting up people who want to set up a table out in our yard. We're setting them up out there too. If you want to have a home yard sale, not a thing, we'll sell a table for $10 if you want to do that, and set up out there right with our sales on Friday and Saturday, and hope it don't rain next week.
Yeah, really.
Hope everybody don't stay for the inauguration, and they'll come and see us.
So this is right.
We did when we said that. I didn't even think about that being the time that they were going to have that.
Oh,
but
right.
anyway, that won't take long to do, and you can come in Thursday if you'd like, instead of Friday and Saturday. And we'll let you look it over, and if you want it, we'll hold it for you on Thursday. So come in and see us. We'll be there to take care of you.
And,
so,
and Jerry, the yard sale is for His Compassion, right? That's a fundraiser?
The yard sales for His Compassion, yes, for feeding the hungry in Marion County. And that also goes for the Logos ministry, which our rehab ministry that we have in our church. But mainly it goes for feeding the hungry in Marion County. If you have something you want to donate us this week and next week, we'll send a truck by if it's a lot. If you want to bring it by on Wednesday, Tuesday, and Thursday next week, we'll take it in right there, and you can see what we're doing feeding people. We have people that need food, and we just every week a semi-load of it goes out to the people in Marion County.
Yeah.
So this is what we're doing for this. Everything you give, every dime of it will go into that ministry. So
awesome.
Come by and see us, and see what you can see if you need some of it. But if you need to, if you want to donate us $100,000 for this ministry, we'll take that too, Larry.
That's awesome. We thank you by the way, for introducing us to Larry Lansbury. He came in and talked about this. I think it was after
wonderful fella. God sent him to us because I tell you what, he's done a whole lot with nothing that since we started, and he's gone a long ways. We've purchased a building on 301 Bread of Life building at 24,000 square feet up there, and we're working that for our ministry up there. We have a lot of stuff in there, and we're working on it. And here at the church, the yard sale will be at the church on North 441. I don't got the address, but you'll see Living Waters. Just turn right in there and go back to the parking area. The yard sale will be right there inside, and you can go through the big old. It's a gymnasium. It's a big gymnasium full of good stuff to sell.
All right. Good to hear from you, Jerry. So everybody go to Jerry's Pawn and Gun. You got more than one reason to go there now. Go for the yard sale. Go for maybe to get some money for yourself or to buy something.
Yes.
It's Jerry's Pawn and Gun is always amazing. Thank you, Jerry.
Come buy your a girlfriend a nice, pretty thing for Valentine's. We got all kind of jewelry, and it's just amazing. Bree's got the counters all full of good stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, you got it. We're coming down. Thank you, Jerry.
Okay, Larry. Y'all have a good day.
All right, we'll be right back.
It's time for Farm and Ranch Headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. Bob Kimmerite with the University of Georgia is now working in preparation for the planting season that'll be coming up in mid-April, and farmers need to be thinking about disease protection. Bob, what are some of the things they can be doing?
When I look back at 2016, we had some major disease outbreaks. Now in the season, it's time to be prepared for that. I would suggest that growers start looking at what was the impact of Aspergillus crown rot. What's the quality of seed? What seed are you using? More importantly, I would be looking at what kind of leaf spot program do you have. Some of our varieties have good high oleic characteristics, high yield potential, but they need help with fungicides. Let's make sure we got good fungicides. European Union hasn't helped us. We need to look at what some of our options are. And then most importantly is white mold. White mold was a big year last year. It was a big year the year before. We can expect it with shorter rotations. Now's the time to look at your variety, and especially the time to look at the fungicides and some of the newer fungicides, what they may bring. It's not always what you spend up front. It's the kind of money you make by using a good disease management program throughout the season.
I heard last year we had a lot of underground white mold. What do the farmers face there?
Underground white mold is the same as our regular white mold, except during hot, dry conditions, it's forced underground where there's more moisture. Believe it or not, it's more of a problem for our dryland growers. We just don't have the irrigation to wash it down in dryland conditions. And so our dryland growers really need to be prepared for how they can help to get that fungicide at the target and try to manage some underground white mold.
I've been looking all over the world.
Hey y'all, I'm Josh Turner. Whether you're a hometown girl or a backwoods boy, come to Nashville for the 2017 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. You'll see the biggest cattle industry trade show with over 6 acres of displays, plus an exclusive concert with Cowboys Night at the Opry. Mosey on down to Music City, February 1st through the 3rd. Find out more at beefusa.org.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.